My name is Julian Johnson. I use he, him pronouns, and I am the coordinator for Aztec. So, Aztec is an organization that's existed since 1998, and it's worked to support specifically marginalized trans people. Initially, in the beginning, it was a support group for HIV positive trans women who are sex workers. And over the years, it has really come to grow into, many other things and a lot of different services. So that's kind of like the root of where Aztec comes from, and we're really proud of those roots. We are the oldest trans organization in the province, and the only trans organization focusing on sex workers in Canada. I mean, I'm a trans person. A lot of the ways that we find what we need and that we get what we need is through more unusual methods, I would say, than just having access to money in our lives. So I have benefited from mutual aid in terms of when I was recovering from surgery, navigating different legal issues. I was supported through mutual aid, fundraising, and that's amazing. That's something that, is a part of kind of all of the organizing for trans people. It's intrinsic to our values, I believe, as trans community. So I've kind of engaged with mutual aid in a lot of different ways over the years, whether it be helping people fundraise for their own surgeries or procedures, or working in places where we really valued people's experiences and believed what people were telling us, and thus put that energy and experience to work to help create networks of mutual aid. So whether that means creating services in organizations that valorize mutual aid, for example, the emergency fund at Aztec. It's something that we have been running for many years. And it comes from fundraising money that is that essentially goes entirely back to the community. And since we have a reputation and people know about Aztec, we're able to kind of use that visibility and leverage to help get money that we give directly back to our communities. Our emergency fund prioritizes rent support. So that's really our priority. That's really what we are paying attention to when people are reaching out to us for those requests, and essentially trying to keep people housed, as well as supporting folks for post-op. So that's those are really where we try to bridge the gap where we can with what money we do have. It's not always a possibility, I would say, in every single organization to kind of prioritize mutual aid or even include it in any way. But yeah, mutual aid is really the basis of so many radical organizing initiatives across time. Organizations like Aztec are inspired by obviously they come from, but are also daily inspired by mutual aid initiatives amongst people and activists and individuals. I think that my initial introduction to mutual aid work was actually in kind of the DIY punk scene in St. Henry a few years ago. And so essentially I had started to attend punk shows with queer punks and trans punks, and there were shows that were raising funds for people to survive. And that was obviously a very interesting concept to me because I was low income, I was homeless at the time. I didn't really know that was something you could do, and even the concept of reaching out for help from people in community. Even the concept of having a community, it's very new to people, and it's even a privilege to feel like you are in community, and that you have people who will back you up and take care of you. And since then, I've been more working in community organizations. So I have been for the past almost 11 years. And I would say in trans community, what we really need is money. What low income folks really need is money. And so that is kind of the strongest way to give back. And the strongest, the most strength behind mutual aid is usually when it's money oriented, can make a huge difference in people's lives, whether it's accessing surgeries, like gender affirming surgeries, or help with like legal fees, help with like recovering from surgeries. Like there's so many things that like trans people, low-income trans people, like need financial support with. So the possibilities are endless, I would say, you know. So mutual aid has helped Aztec in so many ways. I mean, thanks to like the recognition that we have in community and the work that has been put into Aztec through people over the years. Like, I'm so grateful for the ways that community has showed up to support Aztec. Over the last year, like over 12 months ago, Aztec was in a really, really difficult place financially, and it was threatening to close down permanently. Like there's all kinds of reasons for that, but one of them being that, you know, there's not a lot of like attraction to funding programming for trans adults right now, much less sex workers and drug users. And so essentially, while this was happening, there was an initiative put together by different people, including El Barbara and Eve Parker Finley, amongst other people, who like really just put all these fundraising efforts into keeping Aztec afloat. Aztec raised over $40,000. The amazing women who were involved worked on these like extremely beautiful glamour shots, and those were kind of released as like incentives and for donating a certain amount of money, and the work behind the photo shoot and the makeup and the hair and everything that went into those images was also like donated through just people's time and energy and care and love. And so I was kind of witnessing that at the time as like a community member, not as a staff member, and was just blown away. And so essentially over the past year, you know, thanks to that money, we've been able to gain a lot of stability back. And essentially we were able to take like a big portion of the money that was raised, the $40,000, and put it directly towards mutual aid for our emergency fund. And that's where the money from our rent support and our post-op support comes from. So it's mutual aid 100%, was raised by community for Aztec. We were privileged enough to be able to just funnel it back out. I mean, people are just extremely, extremely grateful. You know, it's really a blessing to be able to offer that to folks. Like, there's not many organizations who are able to do that because of so many funding restrictions. And that's just kind of like seen in a lot of organizations as just like not the way it's done. Yeah, I'm just grateful for the ways that I've seen people actually be able to just continue like being alive, because we've also seen people who have not been so fortunate. Well, I think mutual aid is important to me personally because I've been able to benefit from it, and also I've gotten to see so many people in my community benefit from it as well. It's the same $10 being passed around to everyone, and whether it's a big amount or a small amount, like the intention behind that is so important. Like, people have a right to being in situations of safety, and trans people in particular, you know, especially trans women, face a lot of violence in gendered spaces. There's fewer and fewer places to be and feel safe. So if that's something that we can help somebody get through money, if that's something I can help somebody get through money on my own, or if my neighbor can help somebody get through money, you know, it's like, that's really what it's all about, I think. Like at the end of the day, like helping out.